This week, we are going to be talking about AI agents, voice agents, more specifically. They're not coming, they're already here. Your competitors are using them, but there's a big flaw with the ones that your competitors are using, and it might be the reason why you haven't implemented it yet.
You're listening to the AI Convergence Podcast, presented by Vox AI, where AI, business, and mindset converge.
Hello, thank you for calling Clean Cut Painting and Handyman. My name is Lindsay, and I am a new AI customer service agent for Clean Cut, and I can help you with pretty much anything. So what can I do for you today?
Oh, hey, Lindsay, how's it going?
Hi there, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. How can I help you today? Are you calling about a painting or handyman project, or is there something else I can assist you with?
Well, I was wondering if you could just order me some pizza, like a real good extra cheese, pepperoni, mushroom, that kind of thing.
I wish I could help with that. Unfortunately, I'm only able to assist with painting, handyman, and home maintenance services for Clean Cut. Is there a project or repair you'd like help with today?
I got it. Well, hey, could you tell people really quick why you as an AI agent is so important for businesses today?
Absolutely. As an AI agent, I help businesses like Clean Cut provide quick, friendly, and consistent customer service, even when the team is busy or after hours. This means customers get answers and help right away, which makes the whole experience smoother and more convenient. Is there anything else I can help you with regarding our services?
That's it. Thanks so much. You did a great job, Lindsay.
Good job, Lindsay.
Yeah, nice job.
Thank you so much for your kind words. I really appreciate it. If you ever need anything from Clean Cut Painting and Handyman, just give us a call. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.
18 appointments in 1 week. Those weren't total appointments. Those were new appointments. That client that we have there, they were really skeptical about implementing voice agents into their business. They live in a blue-collar town, blue-collar city. They were concerned that it wasn't going to communicate their family values, their touch, the branding, what they spent so hard communicating. And so he gave me 7 days to test the agent to see if it would work. And in that first 7 days, it booked 18 new appointments, not total appointments, more than what they already do, and generating over $50,000 in new estimates for just that first week. Welcome to the AI Convergence Podcast. My name is Matt.
My name's Trey.
And my name is Christian.
We are brought to you by Vox AI. And last week, we did a deep dive into, it was a really deep dive, into subconscious programming and how we can upgrade it for the age of AI. It's extremely important that we really reframe our thoughts about AI and learn to adapt and adopt the mindset that it's here to help us, regardless of all the clickbait fear that is out there. So if you want to learn more about that, we go also really deep into other, how you can optimize yourself as a business owner too, and what kind of little sneaky things might be keeping you from achieving that next goal. But today, what happens when you take action? When you actually say, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to give this a shot, and we're going to start implementing AI into your business. Voice AI is one of our biggest selling products here at Vox AI, and we've seen incredible results, hands down. As a matter of fact, 100% positive results across the board with every build and launch that we've had. And we're going to show you exactly what's working with real numbers and real clients. No fluff. This isn't theory. This is actual proof. So we're going to go ahead and dive in. And like I said earlier, voice AI, it isn't coming. It's here. And I think we'd say it's exploding right now. Huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Apparently, statistics show that voice AI market's going from 2.4 billion to 47.5 in 10 years. So I would say that that's quite the explosion.
Yeah.
So, after hearing Lindsay, how natural they're becoming, it's just, it's inevitable. And I think, Trey, you mentioned on our first episode that customer service is like one thing that we can definitely start outsourcing with AI, and with voice, that just makes it really possible.
Yeah.
So
And that, by the way, that Lindsay, that wasn't planned. That is an actual live agent that one of our customers, our clients rather, uses on a daily basis. They have multiple locations, and we use them. You're going to be hearing a lot about them because they give us permission to use their name and their brand through all of our stuff. And some clients, they like us to kind of keep confidential because they want to kind of keep it as their little ace in the pocket that they're using kind of thing. But yeah, it's 80% of routine calls, the calls that were normally dropped. I mean, how many times have we heard customers, in the old marketing days, we have tracking numbers. We're driving you new calls. We're able to hear the conversations. We're getting you new leads, but you're not answering them. And they're like, "Well, I'm on the job. I get back to them as soon as I can." What are some other areas that with customer service that we can?
Well, I think we should talk about a little bit from taking something from the last episode, which was, we found out and we've all talked about how AI is actually something easier to communicate with, to open up about. And really nice thing right now about the use cases with voice AI, but AI in general, you can use it as your first layer of interaction to the client. And that can be a really powerful data gathering spot where the client's actually pretty comfortable. They're like, there's nothing to lose here. I'll just tell them, what my project's about, like where location, and they'll just talk more because it's not like they're wasting anyone's time. And I think it's really something that a company can capitalize on because the best businesses know that data is money, and the more data you can have, the better you're going to be able to serve your clients. So using it in that way, especially right now, while it's sort of a new thing and people are comfortable, like we haven't had anything super bad, no terrible data leaks or anything, where people are afraid of talking to the AI. People are really open right now. So I think you take advantage of that. And, talking to Lindsay, it's super natural. Even just a simple a chat widget that's really conversational and intelligent. People will just talk to it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because we build the same thing too through a chat interface on your website. So people can have that same either voice conversation, over 78% of all traffic is mobile. So, they come to your website, they can just tap and they can talk to the voice agent just through the website. Or if you prefer text, they can chat. But that same type of personalized interaction. And, you mentioned something about AI and the comfortableness that people have opening up to it. And that's one of the fears that I think the biggest fear that every business owner that we come across has at first. They're like, we spent a lot of time really building our brand. We really focus on being personable and being there and meeting our customers' needs. And we want them to feel like they're getting a hold of us and not just passing them on to some automated system. Well, in fact, what we've seen is that the way that we build our voice agents, which I will be clear here is completely different than what's out on the market. The way that we build our voice agents is we build and train them as part of one of your employees, right? So if you're going to onboard an employee, take them through your branding, your mission statement, your ethics, your tone, all of those things, and how they're supposed to talk to customers in the forward facing. Like we take them through that, we build that, we train that, we put in intuitiveness, we put in guardrails, we put in prompt injection defaults or protections. We put in things like that. So if somebody asks them, some questions, they're not just like, "Oh, sorry, I can't help you with that right now, but I can book I can book an appointment for you." Just like Lindsay did, she actually kind of, acknowledged it. She laughed and then she kind of like pivoted, and then also had an actual conversation with you, just like a normal human would be. And so what we found, and we actually tested this in small towns with, real blue collar people first. And with our approach, the adoption was over 90%. And now it's even higher than that. And so, yeah, to your point, if it's done right, when voice agents are done right, it helps your business.
Mhm.
When they're done wrong, it harms your business. Like there was a study, and I'll pull it up here really quickly, but I believe it was a Harvard-based study where business owners that were using voice AI agents, the topic was how bots can ruin company perceived trust. And basically what they were saying is that, it was Inc. It was actually Inc.com. A customer wanted an oil change. Then an AI bot made everything weird. Companies think that AI is better for business. Business is missing the most important rule of interacting with customers. And basically what it's going emphasizing is that what happened in this particular instance is that people thought they were talking to a human because the AI did not say that it was an AI.
Mhm.
And so then they felt deceived when he found out that it was an AI and he started asking questions and probing, because we're all humans, we're intelligent, people are going to figure it out. Then he felt deceived, and that completely ruined his trust and his experience with the company.
Mhm.
And our approach is completely different. And so, yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. That Inc. was writing about that.
Yeah, that's an interesting caveat, because you would kind of think it's the opposite, right? Like nobody really wants to talk to an AI, so once they hear it, they'll probably hang up. But yeah, if you're just upfront and honest, and hey, this is an AI that you're speaking to, like how can I help you? And then there is the option to speak to a live person if you really want to, but they can handle 80% of everything. With home services, especially, like you mentioned, Matt, people are on the road, they're doing stuff, they're painting. Unless they have like a receptionist, nobody's going to be able to answer those calls or get back to them in a timely manner. And timing is, everything. If you lose their attention, or if you don't get back to them in, a certain amount of time, then you're going to lose that business. So I think that's key. And, ROIs jumped from $3.50 for every dollar spent, on this technology. So I think it kind of speaks for itself. Like you're not leaving any chance for business to fall, between the cracks. Booking, scheduling, even just answering FAQs are just some basic things that these agents can do.
Yeah,
So.
and there's a stat here where on average, call center assistant is about $7.68 per call with humans. However, the average cost for a voice agent is 6 to 10 cents per call. Our clients are more between the 15 to 20 cents per call, and that's a little bit higher because we employ much more intelligent agents. So the cost of that communication and token fee is a little bit higher, but it's worth it, right? You're still saving tons of money. And you mentioned before, Christian, you were like, unless you have an assistant. Well, even if you have an assistant, like they call out late, they or sick, or they go on vacation, or they forget the process. You might have a process to put in place, they don't follow it, or they can only take one call at a time, whereas a voice agent can take literally 100 calls at a time.
Yeah.
And they work 24/7. I remember the first agent that I ever sold, which was to the Good Feet company, retail location here in Colorado, and he was all for it. One of their biggest pain points was that they're big on appointments and people coming in, so that way their person behind the table can go have a consultation. They take them through this process, and it's very high level, high touch. And so whenever the person is helping someone, the phone gets missed, and it's just going to an answering machine. And a lot of people are calling, asking for the same types of questions, a little bit of consultative experience, mostly like when they can come by and make an appointment or whatever. And so his big thing is we're losing money because these people are calling and nobody's there to answer the phone. So that his next question was, because it was $1,500 a month to have it running. And he was like, I don't know what kind of ROI am I going to get on that. And I said, well, because at first he was a little hesitant. And I said, think about it this way. I said, let's say you had an assistant, you hired a new assistant to just answer the phones. I said, you paid her $20 an hour for 40 hours a week, because they're not going to work more than that. And I said, so, what is that? That's $800 a week. So that's $3,200 a month, right? That you're paying this one, right? My math is correct, right? Because
I think so, yeah.
I'm not the best numbers guy.
You're good.
I said, you're paying this one person $3,200 a month, but they can only take one call at a time. They can only work 40 hours a week. They're going to take lunch. And they're not going to work 24/7, 7 days, 24/7, 365. And whenever I presented to him like that, he was like, "Oh, you're absolutely right. Let's do it."
Yeah. And
it was a great success for them. So yeah, it's the return on investment is massive with that.
Yeah. Not to mention, being a customer service rep's not easy. I was one back in the day, and you're getting yelled at all day. Like you're dealing with these crazy customers. And so your emotions are just a roller coaster all day. With the voice agent, it's just even keeled. You can yell at it. You can scream at it. It won't go anywhere. It won't hang up on you. It won't yell back. It'll still answer your questions and be there as long as you need to. So that's another thing.
Actually, that isn't true. In testing the voice agents, I was extremely rude to one testing it.
Okay.
And she handled it very politely, but she was like, sorry, I have to end this call. And she hung up.
I guess that's good.
Because I'm going to see how far. I was cursing at her and everything. And she was like, I'm sorry, that kind of interaction is not acceptable. She's like, I have to go. Have a good day. And she hung up.
No, that's good.
I was like, wow, that's awesome. So they will hang up on you if you're a total
Even
asshole.
AI's got feelings.
Yeah. But yeah, so, let's, what's happening in the industry? I really kind of want to dive deeper into the statistics before we kind of get into the technical side of things. So let's go over all of these stats again that we have here. So 89% of small businesses are using AI tools. All right. So the adoption's there. I think businesses know that they need to use AI. The reason why we started this podcast wasn't necessarily to be like, use AI, it's going to save your life. It's more of like, okay, everybody knows. And I hear this a lot too, because I do 2 training classes, workshops every single month. And I've had people come up to me, prior to the workshops, and they're kind of like, well, what am I going to learn here? Because I get it. I'm kind of tired of everybody saying, you got to use AI, you got to use AI, but how, right? So it comes down to an analysis paralysis. How do I implement it? What's the best services? So it's not so much about businesses not using AI, because I think at some level, every smart business, I'll put it that way. And that's not a dig, it's a reality, is using AI. But that's opening up a gap there, right? A big problem. I wouldn't use the word mainstream right now, though. Would you use the word mainstream
for AI?
Yeah, in business adoption.
I mean, it's hard because we're kind of in the bubble. But every time we step outside and we talk to people about it, they're still haven't touched ChatGPT or even just any LLM. So. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, but I imagine most businesses that want to be progressive and modernize their environment and their culture are implementing it in some way, even if it is just enterprise version of Claude or something like that, or probably in the developer world, I'm sure it's being used a lot. But yeah, we're kind of in that bubble. So
yeah,
it's kind of weird because when I did research on this, statistics show everyone's using it basically, which I don't think is wrong. I just think that they're not they don't actually know how to use it. It's so easy to use, anyone can use it, but that doesn't mean you're not checking the output. That doesn't mean you're not you don't know the shortcomings of AI, which is one of the biggest things, because if you put too much trust in it, you don't give it enough context on your prompts and stuff like that, we talked about it last time. It tries to it makes these assumptions because you never told it otherwise to give you the best result, but ultimately it's usually worse off than if you just did it yourself if you're not using it right. So yeah, I think people are using it because that's what the stats say, but I don't think everyone is actually getting a real consistent ROI on it because it takes skill. You can't just assume the AI will do it all correctly for your unique situation.
Yeah.
Because how is it supposed to do that? It's impossible.
You got to understand the concept of having to train these models on your data, other data, whatever you're trying to get, your AI tool to do. And I don't think people have really grasped that idea yet of you can't just talk to it and have it spit out really specific, detailed solutions for you. You got to take some time with it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest challenge right now. Is even with prompting, right? People think that you just say, give me this, or I need this for that. And they just think it's going to be perfect. There's not going to be any iterations involved. And there was, so a lot of the platforms that, and I think I've probably gone over all of them, or if at least, 80% of the ones that are out there, is that there's a very little time spent on training the agent. They just say, put in your URL. It's going to scan your website. And it's going to know everything about your business. Well, how many business owners actually have a good website, right? That has all of their information.
Just a title, subtitle.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
How's the AI supposed to know anything?
Yeah. And that's go high level, Vendasta, Marbleism, all of these platforms that are out there. I mean, that's pretty much it. Put in your URL and we're going to learn everything about your business. Well, do you have your company culture on your website? You should with the new AEO and AI search engines. Most businesses don't. Do you have how to handle customer responses and reactions and what's your tone and all of this other stuff? You don't. So one of the biggest problems I see out there is that, number one, there's not any real substantial training that goes into how to train your AI agent. And the next thing is they all sound the same because nobody teaches you how to train personality, right? It's I had the CEO of the Better Business Bureau shoot me a text last week, and because we handle all of their voice agents. And he said, he's like, oh, hey, he's like, call this number and check this one out. Call it and let me know what you think. And he's always a little kind of vague like that. And so I called it and it was one of these canned, systems. It didn't do horrible, but didn't do great. It was the same stuff that you would hear. And so, I messaged him back and I was like, yeah, I listened to it. It's all right. He's like, yeah. He says, I thought so too. It was okay. He's like, but it lacks a lot of intuitiveness that yours, the ones that you guys build do. And so it's that's the difference, right? We talked about it before. How long have we had cameras that can take professional grade photos, right? Has that increased the quality of all photography in the world on social media? No, it hasn't. Same thing with websites, Squarespace, WordPress, Wix. These platforms have come out where you can build amazing tools, amazing websites if you really know what you're doing. But most of this is why we're still building websites and people are paying us for it because most of the stuff out there is crap. Yeah. So it's the same thing with AI agents. I thought it was kind of funny though, because you were talking about, I think it was the adoption earlier was really good, but it's implemented wrong. We were just talking about when McDonald's with their rollout.
Yeah. So roughly 22% of the time, well, it's like McDonald's, right? It's one of the biggest companies, one of the biggest restaurant chains in the world, if not the biggest.
Yeah.
And for them to do this, they did it pretty early, I'd say. Like if they were to do it now with the voice AI, and they actually used someone who was not IBM, I would say,
Yeah.
we would actually.
That was a fail.
I would honestly
McDonald's,
use a startup.
that was a fail.
I think
Yeah.
if McDonald's just vets a good startup, they could do it for really cost effective.
Yeah.
Just look at the government. They're using Palantir and
Like
other
us.
small.
Use us.
Yeah. Like us. Yeah, let's get a McDonald's
Yeah.
contract.
If you're listening, McDonald's, we're here for you.
Yeah.
We got you.
We can hook you up.
But yeah, I think that's also something, not to get too sidetracked, but that's something to think about in the future, especially just like right now even, is smaller businesses, people that are on this stuff will be able to do better work than the big businesses that are slow
Mhm.
and they're using this outdated technology.
Yep.
Where they're trying to do it themselves and they don't actually know what they're doing. Like IBM, because quite frankly, dude, so there was 22% of AI orders. So they put it in their drive-through at, I think it was 100 locations. And so I think those 100 locations do like 27,000 drive-throughs in the span of this testing period. And yeah, 22% of the orders required human intervention. And their main excuses were like the sound from the car, muffled talking to the microphone thing.
Mhm.
And like it was crazy. Like they were putting bacon on ice cream,
Sounds good.
Yeah, not bad,
260 McNuggets.
I think AI is just coming up with some new stuff.
Yeah.
This is great.
Essentially,
It's intuitive.
Like they were getting the wrong lane orders. So yeah, you can't have that with 27. I mean, how many is that? It's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I kind of think here? I think when AI in drive-thrus actually works, do you know who's going to employ it? Chick-fil-A.
Mm,
Oh,
for sure.
They could have a perfect one.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they do it. I mean, they
They
do
would do
that.
it.
They really do their crap
Oh, yeah.
like well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they have their tone and like my pleasure and like,
yeah.
exactly what they need to
It's
say.
like during
to a T.
COVID, like they pivoted, they kicked everybody out of the stores. They like had their whole process in the drive-through, and like people were just like cranking through. So
Yep.
yeah, so Chick-fil-A, look us up.
I
If
agree
you're
with
out there.
that. But yeah, it's going to come down to, it's not like it's not going to happen. Like my business plan is make like a local or like a tiny little thing that's like drive-through coffee, but the AI takes your order, makes a coffee, and you're on your way in like 2 seconds.
Mhm.
Like, and then you could just pop them up like gas stations. Like
Put
Yeah.
one here in
you
the
can get
office.
coffee at
Yeah.
I mean,
Just test it here.
Yeah.
it's no doubt it's the future. Like
Yeah.
you're going to do it because it's just so cheap. Like it used to cost, I couldn't believe this, but it makes sense because there's a lot of reasoning happening in the background.
Mhm.
The AI isn't just trying to like match your words, it's trying to understand your intent, which takes a lot of computational power, and you have to do it very quickly.
Mhm.
So like 500 milliseconds is the time that they're aiming for because that's conversational pace without making it too slow.
Mm.
Which has really just happened very recently. So I don't know. It's
Yeah.
like now that we're there, now that we have the technology that could do this in live time really well. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just a matter of time until they just put it everywhere.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I remember calling Wingstop maybe 2 months ago or so, and they had, at first it sounded good. I mean, I wasn't sure. I kind of had an idea that it was, but I wasn't really sure. And they had the background, call center mumbling going on in the background. But I 100% confirmed that it was AI whenever she was like, "Oh, okay, so you want, like an 8 pack of wings at this flavor, correct?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then you hear the keyboard. And then I was like, and then she's like, "What else would you like for that?" And I was like, "Oh, add another order of whatever it was, honey barbecue." And she was like, "Oh, okay, another order of 8 honey barbecue. 1 second."
It's like, are you manually
It
typing the whole
it was the same keyboard strokes that you heard before. But here's the crazy thing. After she confirmed the order back to me, And she was like, is that correct? I'm like, yeah, that's correct. Okay, one moment.
Oh my gosh, come on.
And then it went again.
Like, are we booking a hotel here?
And then it went again.
What?
And then she came back and she was like, I'm sorry, I had a glitch. One moment. And she had to transfer me to a human
my
anyway.
God.
And I was just like, fail.
After all that.
After all that. Yeah. It was.
How much do you think they spent on that? Like,
yeah, who knows? I mean, yeah, but I mean, if you have like 1,000 of me calling at the same time, right?
Yeah.
And then it's doing that, 20, 30, 40% of the time. So, hey, I credit them for giving it a shot, I mean, cause you have to, you gotta run it, test it. Just like this business owner did. But again, Wingstop, you should have called us.
Give us a call.
but they should also, what I'm noticing is like, you're not testing enough
Yeah.
outside of live production. Like you should not be going live to production with 40% success, 20%
Yeah.
Yeah.
or 20% failure rate. That's
Yeah.
awful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like there should be so much more testing happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would notice it after 10 tests, right?
Yeah.
Like how are they not?
Kind of.
It's crazy to me.
That kind of reminds me of a little off topic here, but we are talking about fast food and testing. It was Kentucky Fried Chicken was testing plant-based chicken, and I think this was genius. They tested it in Atlanta. If you can sell plant-based chicken in Atlanta and people buy it, it's going to be successful.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah. So obviously didn't work because it's not over here. People in the South were like, plant-based chicken? Man, please. They're like, no.
What is this?
But yeah, you have to test. And you gotta get it right.
Yeah.
Touching on an earlier point too of there's a lot of skewed information here, right? With adoption, et cetera, because early on, with the whole AI boom, there were a lot of big businesses that were like, we're automating everything, right? And they fired departments and they retrofitted stuff. And then they quickly realized that AI couldn't do it all. And so then they had to kind of like, eat crow, so to speak, and hire back some people and restructure and whatever. And that's just like the reality of the situation. And I think a lot of businesses, that are listening, probably can fall into that, right? They're like, well, we tested it, or we tried a voice agent, it didn't work, or we tried an auto SMS reply system and people were just replying stop or whatever it is. But that's just because the implementation is poor. Right.
Yeah.
And we see that. I mean, I see that all the time. One of the oldest services that we offer is it was automated before. Now it's AI automated, meaning kind of like machine learning and stuff like that. But now it's AI powered. Was one of our AI customer activation campaign services. And we go to businesses and they're like, oh yeah, we send SMSs out to our people, and it just never really worked. And I was like, well, number one, I'm like, well, show me what you're doing. And they're like, 10% off today. I'm like, well, number one, your offer sucks. And then your messaging isn't personalized. It's not intuitive. Your timing is off. Like the whole execution of it is poor. That doesn't mean that the strategy is not valid. And so then, honestly, that's why we started rolling out. We're like, we're not going to charge you anything for it unless you get results to prove to them that our method is better. And it is, and it has been ever since. And so it's just I think one of the things that's kind of trickling down to business owners now is that they hear these stats of, well, if these big agent companies are pulling back and going to human, then I don't need to do it, right? Well, that's not true because they were, poor implementation, poor practices, and the same thing happens with voice agents, which is why one of the biggest things we hear a lot when we talk about that with our prospects is they're like, I don't know, I don't want us to sound like that, and that kind of a thing. So literally, we just let them call a few of our agents, and they're like, oh wow, okay, that's different.
Sells itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, implementation is key. I think when it comes to marketing, people see it as like the bottom of the totem pole, whether it's email, SMS, now, AI tools. But yeah, I mean, you really gotta test. You gotta give it a chance. And I mean, these systems have been proven to work. I mean, the stats on the AI voice tools that are coming out now, even just the traditional marketing ideas of sending SMS, creating a good offer, creating a funnel and a system where we can send that out to customers is tried and true and proven. People just don't give it a chance or don't implement it well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's really key.
Yeah, and I think that's the same with. I mean, if you pull AI out of it, this has been the same challenge that business owners have had with marketing in general. Mm. Oh, I tried funnels, it doesn't work. I tried paid advertising, doesn't work. I've heard that tons of times. Mm. Well, no, you tried putting money into an ad, like you haven't tried actually coming up with an actual, value ladder, messaging, like I narrowing down your persona. Who are you speaking to? If you try to speak to everybody, you speak to nobody. What are their pain points? Like the whole psychology of sales and marketing, is extremely important. And so, sales and marketing it's like age old type thing, but yet still there are only a small percentage of businesses that get it right and they're successful with it and they can grow and scale. And so, again, the same thing happens with technology. So what are some, if business owners are kind of thinking, well, I want to do it myself because, I can just kind of figure this out and ChatGPT can tell me what to do. What are some kind of like the challenges that they should expect as far as like implementation, technology, whatnot?
I mean, if they're going to approach it that way, then there's going to be a lot of challenges. Just, talk to ChatGPT and, have it spit out something. I think what you said about, knowing who your audience is, knowing your brand tone, just having all that information, taking it, throwing it into ChatGPT or another LLM, just have it trained on all that information about your company. Then you can be like, okay, let's come up with a marketing campaign for this product, blah, 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 blah. And then that'll be, so much more catered. It'll give you all the messaging. It'll give you different ideas of offers, things that you can do to, really optimize whatever you're trying to market. But if you're just going in with general information, then it's not going to do much.
Yeah. It's, regardless of the, and it's going to get worse. I mean, what was that stat? 43 billion by
42.7 in 10 years.
Yeah, in 10 years. That's a 30% growth increase. And I think it's probably going to happen faster than that. So it was voice AI market was a 2.4 billion market in 2024, projected in 2034, 34.8%. And by 47.5 billion. So it's going to be a huge thing. So what's going to happen during that time? Well, you're going to have a ton of platforms out there that say, and look, here's the thing. I'm going to put the asterisk prior to this for those that are listening. This is as bad as it's ever going to get. Is there going to be 6 months, 8 months, a year and a half from now? Is there going to be a platform that is super intuitive? It walks you through what you need to. The conversational quality of it is massive. And that requires a lack of a ton of effort for you. Yes, there is. But then you have to ask your question. If you're waiting that long to implement AI because you want to do it yourself, well, then you are just no different than everybody else at that time. You're going to be another business that finally got a website in 2009, and you're not going to be any special because every other business already has a website. So you're competing in that red ocean type thing. Mm-hmm. So Now, if you want to start to get ahead of the curve, what are some of the things you want to look out to? Well, I would say, or look out for. So I would say, good is better than nothing, right? So it's great to start somewhere, especially if you're a small business owner, because we talk a lot to the real small business owners, making less than $1 million a year. And, if you don't have the money to invest in a firm like ours to really build you a custom model, to go through all of the nuances and build something that's great for you, then platforms like Go High Level, Vendasta, Marbleism, et cetera, those could help you out, right? They're very affordable, very low barrier to entry. But one of the things I would do is I would spend a lot of time in their interface and their platform training your AI. And, this is another thing too, depending on the model that they're using, which I don't know which model they're using, but chances are, because they're SaaS platforms and they're also offering these things, some for just like $50 a month, they got to be using like GPT-4o. Right? Like an old model, because it costs like 2 cents a token or transaction or whatever it is. And so that's going to limit the intuitiveness and the intellectual capabilities that it has. Even though still go through ChatGPT or Claude, tell them what you're trying to do and say, I want you to come up with a complete knowledge base of my business, my industry, questions that people might ask, way to overcome those questions and answers, give me examples, and have the, Opus 4.5 or GPT 5.1 come up with all that information and then put that in the knowledge base of your, canned DIY voice agent, and you're going to notice a huge difference. And so that's one thing that's the suggestion that I would make. Also, don't put too much on it at first. Roll it out. Have it just answer questions. Or what we do with businesses who aren't sure, we're like, hey, let's just do a phased rollout. Let's first have it working after hours, right? This way, at least you're not missing any calls after hours. Then you see how it works. And then we move it to just answering questions, right? Like customer service, and then redirecting the phone to whomever, needs to be redirected. And then we usually roll them up to where the AI is handling everything. It's 24/7, answering questions, forwarding only if need be, booking appointments, sending text messages and emails. So basically, the whole kit and caboodle. So you can do that same approach yourself, like just have it, after hours, or have it do like at least field that call. So that way it could either take a message for you or forward it over to you and test it in those ways. And the last thing I'm going to leave our listeners on with a little kind of like mind bender.
I like it.
So one of the things, and you guys have heard me talk about this a lot, that we have noticed that is really, really weird with building voice agents is that the voice agent will take on the personality of the voice you give it. It's so crazy. Still can't figure it out. I've been diving down that one. I noticed it about 8 months ago. Still can't figure it out. And for those of you, I'm the lead voice agent builder and trainer. And so we've found that some voices are more intelligent than others, even though the model's the same. It's like some are better at pronunciation, some are more intuitive, all by changing the voice, which completely just like it still completely flabbergasts me. So I have a small, list of voices that do really good in certain situations that, we'll use. So anyway, so like, what does that mean? Does that mean that like when people record their voice, like for 11 Labs, because, it's all royalty now. Like, what is it? Is it somehow communicating their intelligence?
It's going to be a mirror of so if it spits back crap to you, you're going to be like, oh man, right. I'm an idiot.
How does
It must. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It's interesting. I mean, it makes sense though, because it's these models are trained on like all of human experience and interactions and like different areas of even just the U.S. Like from the South to East Coast to the West Coast, they're all different like cultures. I think they're all intelligent at a but like they just express themselves differently, have different ideas. So it makes sense. And then you take that internationally with different, countries and cities around the world. I mean, I think that's really interesting and cool that it does that. But,
Yeah. What if the voice agent is being like, oh, I'm supposed to be someone from the Southern United States, and so I'm going to adopt that, speaking style, intellectual level,
Yeah.
what like that. I don't know. It's something I've noticed.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, if you'd like to see what a voice agent could do for your business, I think it's pretty clear by now. We've plugged ourselves enough shamelessly. But hey, it's our podcast. You can reach out to us and we'll do a free consultation with you to see if it's a good fit for you. And, we're like, no BS, no pressure. We're super chill. But do your research, go out there, find out, what I always say is do a time study, right? What are the things that are taking up most of your time that could be automated? And if you have a functioning live business, probably phone calls is probably on the top of the list. So, what are we talking about next time?
I think the elite COO, right? Is that something that we want to
COO elite
chat about?
More agent talk.
Yeah.
Agent talk and what we've been working on for over a year now.
Yeah, some pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, pretty cool. But what's the next phase? Executive assistant agents and how that's going to affect your business. So we'll see you next time.
All right.